thing is I'm not going to speak about payments. Yeah, I know this section is supposed to be about payments, but OK, let's be honest here. The payments is really very boring thing. What can be more boring? It's just the least interesting part of the sales process, right? So what I am going to speak about is how payments can become your gateway to the new market. In our case, it's Russian market. So about the market itself. It's already quite big. As you can see, it's sorry for the numbers on the graph. They are in rubles. But for your convenience, I wrote it in letters. So it's $13 billion already. And 15% of that is foreign. It's cross-border e-commerce. And according to Morgan Stanley, it's going to grow like 5 times bigger by 2020. But the thing is, mostly people from Europe, people from US, they are kind of scared of coming to the Russian market. You can see this graph saying what is the main reason to be scared. And this is not a graph about Russia. They were asked just about coming to any other country. And of course, this regulation, policies, everything, it's so hard. And if you consider Russia, it's even harder. The thing is, you don't really need that. And there are your colleagues from China who already know that. And this is why, from those 2 billion of cross-border e-commerce, the share of Chinese sellers is already bigger than European and Americans together. Because they know that you don't really need to be involved in all this complexity of the Russian law and regulations and policies and everything. We have this saying in Russian that the severity of Russian laws is greatly alleviated by laxity in their observance. And this is true. This is why, for example, PayPal, they only opened their legal entity in Russia and become regulated financial company less than a year ago after they have reached, as the Russian market, $1 billion payments volume and over the million of active users. Only after that, they considered open the legal entity. And there are more reasons for you not go this official way, not open the company, don't really think about it. And well, mostly it's because it's terribly expensive. Moscow is one of the most expensive cities in the world. And we also have such a serious, crucial shortage in the qualified workforce. So you can really pay quite high salaries to those you can find. And 3 more examples of quite respectful companies who are working with the Russian market without any physical or legal presence at the territory are eBay, Skype, and Blizzard. Of course, there are hundreds of examples. I just think that these ones you should know. So what you should do, I hope I already shown you that you shouldn't think about open the company, learn the regulation, open the Russian bank account. What you should do. First of course, you should provide your service to the Russian customers. And for a start, you may want to look at your existing customer base and identify the Russians, because chances are you already have Russian customers. If they have any ability of using your service, and if it is worth be used, you probably already have Russian customers. The only thing you shouldn't do, you shouldn't look at the registration data, because we are not very serious about filling registration forms. It's very often that Russians will fill in the Albania as their country of residence, or US, or something else. So what you should do, you should analyze your visits to your website from Russian IP addresses and look what they do. And of course, there are different points at which your Russian customers can stop using your service, not go through. But mostly, it's either first one or the last one. Mostly, they either realize you don't provide any sufficient service for them, or they try to use your service, but they can't make a payment. It's really a very common problem for the Russian customers trying to use foreign e-commerce websites and services. So what is the problem with payments? I mean, most of Russians already have bank cards. That's true. But the thing is, the fraud concerns, they are so high that very often our totally legitimate and normal credit cards are just not accepted. I have 5 different credit cards just to make sure that I can really pay for services over the internet, but it still doesn't always help. So as you can see from a survey which was conducted by Morgan Stanley, a lot of customers which were responding to the survey, they said that they would really like these e-commerce websites to provide more different ways of payment. And at the left graph, you can see that online wallet is the second one. Online wallet is surprisingly big share of payments and electronic commerce. Of course, the first one is cash on delivery. And the cards, they are on the third place. And the second place is electronic wallet, like Yandex.Money is. One more thing you need to think about is marketing, of course. Let's say you already decided that you want to sell your merchandise or your service to the Russian market. How do you explain it to your potential Russian customers? The thing is, you should look at Yandex. Because here's an example. I'm not sure, can you really see this? I don't think so. It's, I think it's pronounced Yux, right? One of the biggest e-commerce groups. And what they do, they place their offers to the Yandex's marketplace. Because according to the same Morgan Stanley research, 40% of customers who want to buy something, they start with looking this thing at Yandex. Well, in fact, if you ask somebody at Yandex, they will say it's 60%, of course. But OK, let's sell on 40. It's still big enough. And what I say in other research, they say, once again, I'm not sure, can you read it, so I will. Do adapt your online advertising and ECM campaigns to the popular Russian platforms. Yandex had twice the market share of Google. The truth is it's 3 times market share of Google. And it's an entrenched competitor with enough resources and innovations to fend off Google. They are bigger and closer to the Russian market. So this is why, if you want to sell something, you just put it there, and you only pay for clicks, and your merchandise is already advertised to the Russian audience. And if you have a way of accepting payments, here you are. You already came to the Russian market. So why I'm here? And getting back to the topic of the conference, how big can it get? Actually, it's a question to you. How big your business could get if you target the Russian market? Think about it. And after you know the answer, please contact us. Because we are the best partner for you in this journey. We are a subsidiary of 2 companies, biggest in their respective niches. Yandex, which is the biggest Russian internet entity and huge media asset, and Sberbank, which is the biggest financial organization in the country, responsible for like 50% of all the deposits in the country. So what we can do, we can provide you with payments, we can provide you with leads for making your sales, and also we have quite a profound experience in bringing our foreign partners to the Russian market. So please contact us. I would be really happy to answer a question. Me or my colleague Maria, who is also here, she's very easily identifiable. She's only a red hat in the room. So please approach us, and we'll be happy to explain you more about how to get to the Russian market and, well, maybe become bigger than Chinese here. Thank you.